Welcome to Brasov, Romania. In this video, we will be exploring the complex history of this really charming city in the heart of Romania. Stick around because we'll be eating some really delicious traditional food. Let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We got in a bit late last night. We took the train from Bucharest to Brasov, and now we're going to go grab some coffee from a coffee shop that we've seen everywhere. So we're gonna go try that out, and then we're going to do a walking tour in the old town of Brasov.
What this coffee is about. It's like the cheapest place in the...
How much was it?
For both it was $4.95 in dollar.
Oh, pretty good.
It's pretty good. And we noticed with our coffee order yesterday, which we didn't like because we didn't want any like sugar in it, but you had to choose a sweetener on the food delivery. And here, a sweetener and like a syrup is included, which is nice. So of course I went for it.
Now we're gonna grab a Bolt because we actually don't have enough time to walk all the way over there, and the walking tour starts at 10:30.
That's amazing, because I keep getting the cost of everything coming from my phone. A $2 taxi.
Which is actually not good for the people that are working the taxis and the Bolts, because we did a quick translation from for the gas prices here, and I thought, given how cheap the Bolts are, oh, the gas should be very cheap here, but nope. So that's quite terrible.
Hello. Square with some extra time to spare, and I don't mean to rhyme. I just want to say my first impression, like obviously where we're staying before is more outside of the town. It's such a cute place, and just the location feels very old amongst like the mountains. It's very nice, and we came across a little market. So we're going to grab something to eat because the tour starts soon and we're really hungry. We are getting croissants because we don't know what other things are and we're in a rush.
And the other thing to remember is that like a lot of these little places are cash only. So if you come here, go to an ATM, it's actually the cheapest way to do an exchange for your money. Make sure you choose no commission. I got the chocolate croissant. It looks really good. It's heavy. It's probably the heaviest chocolate croissant.
I know, I was gonna say, it's not really heavy.
No wonder why it was slipping off your hands. Oh wow, look at all that chocolate. It's not really a croissant.
Yeah, it's like a brioche.
This
This reminds me more of an Italian croissant, like a cornetto.
Which makes sense with like a lot of the Italian stuff we've been seeing. By the way, Olivia has been able to understand so much Romanian just from knowing Italian. That was something that we were not expecting. We'll probably talk about that more later when it comes to the history and stuff. Now we're looking for an orange umbrella.
One of the most monumental buildings in the town of Brasov, which is the Black Church. And construction of the Black Church started in the 14th century and was finished in the 15th century. And it's definitely Gothic style, which I really like learning about architecture, and our guide had a lot to say about that, which was cool. She was saying how you can see a lot of similarities to Notre Dame in Paris. You may wonder, why is it called the Black Church? You can see the older stones, they're not black, but they're a darker color. And then there's some newer stones, which were probably because of how the church got its name during the Great Fire of 1689, where the church was ablaze, just like much of the town. It is very fitting to the name. And
so another cool thing we learned about the church, you'll notice how there's like some holes on the actual stones. And that's because they put through metal poles, and with a crane, that's how they were able to build the church. The crane is somewhere at a museum here where you can go and like see it, and I'm sure it's like really cool. Another cool fact, it has the biggest organ, musical organ in all of Transylvania. I think it has like 4,000 pipes, and every Saturday they actually have a concert. So maybe we should come check it out tomorrow.
Yeah, so I wanted to say, it's kind of off topic, but not off topic, just walking around here. I think these are my favorite types of places to visit. These small cities, big towns where everything's close. It's very like quaint, you know, rather than like a big city. I used to prefer the big cities. And while they're really cool to learn like the peak of information about a country, these places are just really enjoyable and walkable. And
yeah, it's definitely like less touristy. I'm sure in the summer it's a lot more touristy, but
sorry if I'm saying the name wrong. We learned a bit about him, and the one thing that really stuck out that you can see from the statue, the clothing, the art on the side of the wall, was that he actually brought education for women to Transylvania, which is pretty like remarkable for how long ago that must have been. You hear about other places around the world where it still isn't a thing, still isn't like reachable for women, which is really, really upsetting.
He brought the first printing press here in Transylvania.
This is apparently becoming a theme for our trips, as we just did this in Stockholm, but now we will walk down the narrowest street in Transylvania.
Actually, the one in Stockholm was more narrow.
Yeah, I agree.
Or, yeah, it was more narrow.
City, and this right here is part of the remains of the wall. So once you're outside of these walls, you're actually in the Romanian side of the city. So from there, you'll see the Romanian architecture.
Behind me was the main entrance to the fortification. So when you have 4 small towers with a bigger one in the middle, it actually means that this city operates outside of the country's law, which is called the rule of the sword. Maybe you can imagine what that means because of the name. If you were coming to this town, you would know that you better behave yourself, because if you don't, they don't even need permission from the king to execute. And I think also there was a curfew as well. So if you don't belong in the city, you better get out in time, otherwise you're gonna be in trouble. Very, very pretty architecture. Courtyard, there's wooden statues of all the animals you can find in the Transylvanian forests. And right behind me is a lynx. Something really cool that our guide told us. There's actually a big lynx population. And when an ecosystem has that, it means it's really, really healthy. So a lot of the forests here in Transylvania are quite pure, and meaning they haven't been touched by humans for more than 100 years. I thought that was really interesting. Walking tour. Luciana was a great host, and we learned so much that we can't wait to share with you. Hopefully we remember everything. Yeah. We took some notes. If you guys are in town and you're interested in a tour, Definitely recommend them. Of course, don't forget to tip at the end. It's not really free. They're not doing it because they don't have anything better to do. This is their job. So now we're hiking to the Black Tower, which is right behind us. Okay, so you also have the option to take the path or these stairs. We're feeling a little dizzy looking down at it. Oh, check out this view.
I love when you have these views where it's just like a window of a view and then you have just the trees surrounding it. So nice.
So this tower, they're not exactly sure when it was built. Some sources say it was built in 1494 and some sources say it was built in 1460. Close enough. So the 15th century. So this was one of the towers that they used to defend the city. And there was the Great Fire of Brasov that completely destroyed this tower in 1689. And they actually didn't get to restoring it for like another 150 years later. So yeah, very cool. I mean, you have like a really nice view of the city. So let's fly the drone and see a bit more.
So we're back here in the Council Square, which in the medieval times, just like most other European cities or anywhere in the medieval times, this was the market square. So this was where they did all the trading. And on a grimmer note, right here was where they did the executions. So lots of dark history, just like anywhere else from that time. But our tour guide pointed this out, which I think is really cool because it's kind of like a cute sign too. And it's in all three languages that have had the most importance historically for the city and the region. Piața Sfatului, which is the Romanian, and then Marketplatz in German, and then Foter or Fater in Hungarian. So it's really interesting to see the mix of culture. There's a point we went up earlier, and our tour guide said she really liked this spot because you can see the three different like architectures in the city, and it's kind of like in a row where you have the communist buildings, which is where we're staying in that part of the neighborhood, the German area here, the Saxon area, and then the Transylvanian, Romanian area, which is actually my favorite architecture. I'm not just saying that because you're here. Haven't seen anything like it before, so it's really unique to see. I really like these lace tops. I love like the white linen. So we got a few local beers, which I think are going to go really well with the food.
To clarify, it's local from Brasov, so the brewery is from here.
I've seen these like bread bowls with soup and stews, like in most restaurants we've been to, and this is the first time we're ordering. I'm really excited to try it. It's a bean soup with smoked ham, vegetables, and raw red onion on the side, which I find really interesting. I really like raw onion. It's really nice. It tastes super homemade, fresh, and the raw onions go really well. You have like that sharpness of the onion. And I'm gonna try some of the ham too. The ham looks really tender. It's really good. What did you get, Maria?
I think I should probably use a fork for mine. I got the beef goulash, and I know it's Hungarian, but there's a lot of influence of Hungarian culture here since it was occupied by Hungary for a very long time. And I've had it before in Budapest, and it was really good. I think my expectations are higher here because the meat has been so tender everywhere we go. They also served it with pickles, which was interesting. So I think you're supposed to have it with a side of pickles, which I recently started to appreciate. I didn't always like pickles. Try some with just this. Very nice. The meat just like falls apart in your mouth. I'm gonna try it with a pickle now. I think I prefer it without the pickle. The sourness takes away from like the taste that the goulash has. So if you want to see our Bucharest video, we tried zakunke in Bucharest and it was good, but we were kind of disappointed because we know it can be really, really good. Something tells me this is going to be a lot better. This one is definitely like the best one we've had. It tastes a lot more eggplanty. I think it just needs a little more salt to bring out the flavor.
Before we cut into this next dish, you would think in like a country like Romania or certain European countries, there's going to be really heavy meat food. And although most dishes are quite heavy meat-based, there are actually quite a lot of veggie dishes. So any menus we've seen, they've had like bean stuff and legumes, and now we're going to try mushroom pie. So if you're vegetarian and coming here, do not fret. You have a lot of options still.
Ooh, okay.
And any mushrooms we've had so far here, I really liked. So let's hope that this is similar. I think it's peppers inside and a garlic yogurt. And the pastry looks really nice, and I think it was just fresh baked, so it took longer. Some yogurt. It smells really nice. It's really good. You can tell the pastry is just really fresh, very mushroomy, but I like that. And the yogurt goes perfect with it.
We weren't gonna film my reaction of this, but I just had it, and I gotta say it's probably one of the best things we've had. Like, this is so flavorful. Just the yogurt, oh my god, it's really, really good. Wow, we are so full. The food was great.
And oh, look at the bunny.
So I think,
Oh, it's her bunny. Look. Oh my god.
all right, we're back. That was like a very unexpected thing. The bunny was someone's pet. It's not like Brasov has random bunnies walking around. Now we're walking on what seems to be like the main high street off the main square. Lots of cute shops. The buildings are just so pretty. The official emblem of Brasov, and it's this crown with the roots coming out. And so I'm like looking at it, and then I'm realizing, wait, there's a tree. This is like a really smart play they've done where like you have the tree and obviously the roots are down there, which brings me to the explanation of the emblem. So this was from King Solomon, I believe he was the Hungarian king at the time. So he created this emblem, so it's the crown. It's supposed to actually be 32 roots, which symbolizes the 32 villages within Brasov County. We have made our way back to Brasov Square. Some of the buildings around us date back to the 12th century. We're about to go inside one really well-restored building. Our guide said they have done a wonderful job restoring it and we should go check it out. So let's go do that and then we'll share more about the history. Hey Olivia, I have a question for you. Do you like candles?
Yeah, I haven't seen Yankee candle for so long. It's very...
Oh, that's a clean smell I like. How much are they?
Under 29.
Oh no. This is probably one of the coolest bookstores I've ever been in. And it actually feels like a library because everyone's so quiet. So Romania is relatively a new country compared to a lot of countries in Europe. It, of course, it stemmed from ancient times, the tribe of Dacia. However, the Romania we know today, it's only been, I believe, less than 150 years. It had a few different rulers, and one of the most influential ones for the history, the Hungarian rulers. And the king, back I believe in the 12th century, he made a deal with the Saxons to come here and develop the fortification that Brasov is in today. Because the Saxons were the experts at that, right? You had the French and other ones that cared more about the looks, but the Saxons were more about the security. So they invited them here, and what did they do? They gave them land. So they gave them free land to come and build. A really cool fact, back then you could buy a house with just 12 grams of pepper, salt and pepper, which is crazy, but also not that surprising if you think about how things were back then. Olivia.
Maria.
I think it's time for our
Starbucks challenge.
And conveniently, it's right here. What is your guess for a regular tall latte?
Like $3.60.
$360.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm competitive and I like to win, so I'm gonna give it some thought. I think because we're in like the most touristy spot right now, it might be a little higher than that. So I'm gonna say $4.10.
So $17.90.
$17.90. Let's do the conversion.
$3.83.
Oh, you're.
I want to see how much it is in the US.
Oh my God, I think we were like right down the middle. You said $3.60, I said $4.10. Who's closer? You are. So I think we're gonna be closing this video as it's almost sunset, and I just gotta say we had a wonderful day exploring the old town of Brasov, and I really like it here.
Yeah, me too. It's just a really pleasant, I know I say this a lot, but it really is pleasant and happy. I really love the architecture. The history is interesting, and we're really excited to learn more about the area and the region.
So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next video where we're gonna be exploring Brown Castle, which you may have heard of because of Dracula, which we're gonna go more into it in the next video. And we're gonna be exploring a bit more of the nature parts because we're right in the heart of the Carpathian Mountains.
Yeah, and I'm really obsessed with the backdrop.
Oh yeah.
The green,
just,
you can't see it, but through certain pockets of the really quaint streets, there's just this really lush forest in the back, and that with like the colored buildings and the signs and the beginning of a fall atmosphere is perfect.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen any other like big cities like this.
Yeah.
That have this backdrop of the mountain and nature so close to like the main town. It just adds a whole nother feel to this.
Come to Romania.